My mother's new husband had a past that involved me. I opened the door to my mother's apartment and saw him kneeling, rummaging under the sofa. When he stood, he held a bracelet between his fingers with my initials, the same one I lost 7 years ago, the day I signed a contract that left me in debt for a phantom course. The man who was now going to marry my mother had been the one to convince me back then, under a different surname and with the same smile. He said he found it while moving the coffee table. I saw the crescent-shaped scratch and felt my past cross the room without asking permission. I stayed silent during dinner, and when I got home, I opened my box of papers, printed emails, receipts, a brochure where he posed in front of a board promising scholarships, and the tiny clause hiding abusive interest. I wrote down dates, amounts, calls. The next day, I asked to see my mother alone. I told her that her boyfriend didn't just have a past, but one that pierced me. She held her breath and asked me to stay calm. In the following days, he changed his tone, first offering to fix my record with a bank contact if we let misunderstandings go, then insinuating that I was overreacting. I recognized the pattern: favors in exchange for silence. On the Sunday of the family lunch, I brought an envelope with my timeline. He intercepted me in the kitchen and, in a low voice, said that my bracelet proved I lost things and made up stories, that his lawyer knew how to stop slander, and that it wasn't wise to ruin the party. I entered the dining room and, without raising my voice, traced my map: the visit to the course office, the rushed signature, the company's disappearance, the surname change, the mole on my temple that persisted where names changed. I placed the brochure on the table. A cousin read in silence. My mother, pale, asked for time. In the hallway, I suggested a pause, not a judgment. Postpone the wedding for a week to check records, request minutes, speak with other affected parties. I gave her contacts from the group where we shared stories of that scam. She nodded with a small gesture that cut the air. The week became a meticulous inventory: deleted reviews that the cache retained, complaints under his former name, emails from a former colleague with identical contracts. He alternated between sweetness, indignation, and threats. My mother called him to a park at sunset to hear his final account. He returned with red eyes and a straight back. He called errors what was method, spread blame among invisible partners, asked for understanding while hiding his hand. The next day, he left the bracelet on my desk. He had found it in a drawer in his study alongside folders with copies of contracts. We went together to document it and attached my file. The bank agreed to review my case. The lawyer's sister stopped responding. He moved out quietly as someone who knows how to dismantle a life in a few boxes. The invitations remained in a box, unopened. My mother washed the tablecloths and opened the windows. We learned to cook on Sundays with the radio on. The past hadn't gone, but it sat in a different chair. I held the polished bracelet, still marked with the tiny, indelible scratch. I understood that the scratch wasn't an open wound, but the seam that held the pieces together. There was no wedding, but that afternoon, at the cleared table, we toasted with water to what could still begin without lies. The air finally felt clean.